What is up, Bodyweight exercise fans? In today's video, we're talking about how to break any calisthenics rep plateau, including how to reach milestone goals such as doing 20 pull-ups. This is going to be a two-part video series. In part one, we'll cover the more important things, so reps, sets, and all the nitty-gritty stuff like that. And in part two, we'll cover more supplementary stuff, such as training mindset, how to be more practical with your routine, potential supplements you might need, and all the rest of the details like that. So that being said, let's get started. Now, when training for a rep goal, you often hear about two popular approaches, one that focuses more on doing sets till or close to failure, followed by rest days, and one that focuses more on doing a lot of low intensity sets daily, also known as greasing the groove, or what I like to call easy set training. Of course, there are benefits to both of these approaches, but what I found works better is a hybrid model that alternates between easy sets on one day and easy sets plus sets close to failure the other day. So something that looks like this. Now, the goal of easy sets of greasing the groove is to carve deeper neuromuscular pathways through repetition in order to improve your body's ability to perform the exercise with less effort by optimizing things such as more efficient muscle fiber recruitment and smoother technical execution. In simple words, other than thinking of your goal as a performance goal, you also want to think of it as a skill. Something like practicing a musical instrument on a daily basis. This is why easy sets are helpful, since your body can handle more of them and you can therefore practice the exercise more often without overtraining. In terms of sets and reps, when it comes to easy training, greasing the groove, you want to go for 4 to 5 sets and about 40 to 50 of the average reps you'd aim for if you were training close to failure. So during a typical workout, the amount of reps you do if you were doing, let's say, 3 sets with 2 minutes of rest. So if you do 12 pull-ups during an intense workout, don't do more than 6 pull-ups during an easy set workout. Your resting periods can be as short as 45 seconds. Moving on to workout B, your failure workout, there are 3 things here to keep in mind. Number 1, it's important to clarify that by training till failure, I always imply training till technical failure. This means stopping at the point that your body begins to cheat its way to extra reps by breaking form in any way, such as swinging your hips to get another pull-up, bouncing up and down to get one more push-up or dip, and stuff like that. Number 2 is keeping in mind that there is only so much training volume that your body can handle during a workout, especially for your failure sets, since after a certain point you cross a threshold of diminishing returns. For most people, this means 2 quality sets to failure, or to be more specific, technical failure, once you've warmed up really, really well. And this is important because, it's a whole different thing to do your sets without having warmed up properly, or 3 sets if you have really, really great recovery genetics. So, for most people, I recommend 2 sets to technical failure when you're following this training approach. The third point that I really want to stress about this workout is that it's essential to keep in mind that not every day will be the same. Some days will be good, some days will be great, but some days will be also really bad, some days will really, really suck. So don't let that bother you, especially the bad days, and don't fixate on numbers. This is important. Instead, you want to focus more on your perceived exertion. So, train by feeling when it comes to these percentages of fatigue that I mentioned in this training approach. So, don't overwhelm yourself with the number of reps you feel you must get or you should have gotten. Even if you have days that your performance drops dramatically, remember it's simply part of the process, and keep on training and keep on having faith in the process. Now, regarding the order of all these sets during your workout, ideally you want to start with a good warm-up, follow that with your easy sets, and then follow that with your failure sets. This way you get the best warm-up possible. But it really doesn't matter, if you want to do your easy sets later on, that's okay. Personally, this is the order I find most efficient of all. And regarding your resting periods for your technical failure sets, basically the more the merrier, so the more you can rest, the better. But I do recommend a minimum of 4 minutes. So to summarize the weekly training schedule, Monday is easy set workout, Tuesday is your failure workout, Wednesday easy set, Thursday failure, Friday easy set, and Saturday failure workout again. Once a week, you want to make sure that you don't do nothing. This is also essential. Obviously your week can start whenever you prefer. I like to rest on Sundays. The reason that this high frequency format works so well for breaking rep plateaus is because basically, instead of trying to cram all your weekly training into 2 or 3 long sessions, you're spreading it as optimally as possible across 6 sessions. This way you get both that daily practice element through easy sets that don't tax your neuromuscular system as much, and you get enough recovery between your failure sets, since you're getting about 48 hours between those. Still, since your neuromuscular system will start to eventually accumulate fatigue, another thing to keep in mind here is that you want to make sure that you have a deload week at least once every 5 to 6 weeks. This depends on your recovery. If you have a lot of stress in your life, if you don't sleep as well as you'd like to, I recommend doing the deload week once every 5 weeks or even every 4, if you have a lot of stress and your sleep is not that good. Otherwise, if you're on the other end of the spectrum, if your stress levels are really low, if you sleep excellently, first of all, I'm jealous of you, but you can, do your deload week every 6 weeks. Plus, after you get that extra rest, you can use the last day of your deload week to test how much progress you've made. Also do this when you get started. So, take 1 day in the beginning to test your max pull-ups, rest a day after that, and then begin with this approach. Finally, especially for those over 30, I recommend limiting this training approach to 1 to 2 times per year per exercise, and never doing 2 times in a row the same exercise, in order to avoid wear and tear that can lead to injury. So you can do, 1 5-week cycle focused on pull-ups. After that, you can, do your deload week, of course. And if you want to focus on another exercise next, you can put pull-ups on the back burner and do a 5-week cycle focused on, let's say, dips or push-ups. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that a very common mistake that people make when it comes to greasing the groove is skipping their warm-up. Something that besides impeding performance can also lead to overuse related injuries. Skipping your warm-up should never be an option, especially when it comes to an exercise such as pull-ups that entails lifting your whole body through each rep, and therefore putting a lot of stress on sensitive joints such as your elbows, your shoulders, your wrists. This is why I've created a custom pull-up warm-up to use anytime you want to throw in some easy grease the groove pull-ups in your day that I'll be releasing in a few days as well. Still, if you want to watch this right now, I'll include a link above. So that was all for today. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. That way you also won't miss part 2 of this series. Bodyweight muscle is a calisthenics-based approach to fitness for the busy guy that wants to keep things simple, practical, and effective. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them below. I always do my best to get back to every single one of you. And until next time, keep on training.